Swamin Namaste Natalokabandho Karunya Sindho Patitam Bhavabdho Mamuddharatmiya Kataksha Drishtya Rijvyati Karunya Sudhabhivrishya Swamin Namaste Swamin Namaste Swamin Namaste Swamin Namaste Jnanasvarupam Nijabhavayuktam Anandamanandakaram Prasannam Yogindramedhyam Bhavarogavadyam Srimadgurum Nityamaham Namami Srimadgurum Nityamaham Namami Nityaya Satyaya Chidatmakaya Navyaya Bhavyaya Paratparaya Shuddhaya Buddhaya Niranjanaya Namostu Nityam Guru Shekharaya Namostu Nityam Guru Shekharaya Namostu Nityam Guru Shekharaya. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru. So before I start, I want to tell you, I think many of you know, this tomorrow is our Pujya Swamiji's Jayanti, birthday. So normally, the day before this holy day, the whole ashram is getting prepared for tomorrow's program. Not only the inmates and devotees who are present, even the workers, the staff, in everybody's mind there is a joy which comes through Sattva. In everybody's mind there is a feeling of devotion, and with that devotion we are preparing everything, arranging everything. There will be a Pada Puja for our dear Gurudev. The holy auspicious feet will be washed, decorated with chandan and kumkum. Flowers will be offered. Arati will be shown to him. And offering flower petals amidst the chanting of 108 attributes of Pujya Swamiji, a Pushparchana will be done. So, all of us, very happily, we are arranging this program. We are discussing about Sattva Guna. When we do these kind of things, when we worship, when we go to temples, when we chant, when we meditate, when we sing bhajans, our mind gets filled with Sattva Guna. The mind then starts thinking about God, about the divinity, and it gets filled with the flavor of divinity, devotion. This night, previous to the holy Jayanti day, we are decorated. I wish I could show to all of you how everybody, including our staff and workers, have decorated the front of our ashram, the front of this hall, with kurutola, the coconut flowers and mango leaves. Normally, on this day in this hall, program will not be held because this hall is necessary for us to prepare for tomorrow's program. The place from where all three of us, we talk, our online talks every week, the same place we will place Pujya Swamiji's Simhasana, a very beautiful chair for him. And I would like to tell all of you, this is a chair. Maybe tomorrow when you see the online program of the Pada Puja, just notice the chair. This chair, a very old carpenter who was very devoted to Swamiji. On one of the Guru Purnima days, I think it must have been about 20 years back, the day, just the previous day to Guru Purnima, when similarly all of us were, happily arranging everything, a very big program which will be followed by a 7-day retreat. Many devotees had already come, already assembled, they were staying. Many were still coming in. This carpenter came, and behind him, 2 people were carrying a very big wooden chair, not a normal chair. It looked like a simhasana with the feet, the legs also like that of a, the leg was having the mouth of a lion. And he said, Swamiji, I would like you to sit on this when the Pada Puja takes place. I'm just telling you an incident, but this incident is smeared with the devotion of a devotee, a very simple devotee who was not that close to Swamiji, who was not even working here as a carpenter, but he was listening to Swamiji's lectures and sometimes coming and having darshan of Swamiji, doing pranam, maybe sit for some time and go away after taking prasad. He was not very educated also, but when he brought that chair, it was such a divine scene full of devotion. And that chair we are using ever after for all these programs where Swamiji sits and we do his Pada Puja. So this hall is necessary, the hall will be cleaned up. Somebody was saying that we could have stopped today's online program. Actually, I was asked that should we stop? I thought, no, I can make it short. So today I will talk only very little time, maybe up to 9 o'clock. And after that, this hall will be cleaned up. Then rangoli or kolam will be put. The chair will be brought here, kept here. Beautiful asanas will be put over it. And decorations will be done, just behind me. I think when all of you who have seen these programs, you know that these places are decorated. From last Deepavali, we find that there is a change in the minds of our workers and staff. Some of the workers who stay nearby, our domestic workers, they felt that these functions are their own functions. Always during Guru Purnima, they would say that for us, Guru Purnima and retreat sessions, when many devotees come here, the whole ashram is charged with devotion. For us, that is the Onam, and not the actual Onam of 5 days as it is in Kerala. Why I said there is a change? I find that all these years, they definitely felt they are part of the ashram, and when many devotees come, they have to do the work very well so that the devotees are taken care of. Nobody has any difficulty. Everything is looked after, everything is spick and span. That kind of a feeling was there. But for some time now, we are finding that this program of, whether it is Swamiji's Jayanti or Guru Purnima, or whether it was a Deepavali, they have started feeling that it is our program, and they also come forward, joining us in decoration, in doing whatever seva they can do, not as a work that they do usually. Seva feeling, that we also want to do seva. My dear children, we are talking about Sattvaguna. How will Sattvaguna come? Only when we soak our mind with these kind of devotions, this kind of activities, where we feel we forget ourselves. We try to do it with a devotion feeling, respect feeling, or loving feeling for the Gurus or Mahatmas, and also we become a part of a very big program where we want to do it with so much of joy, so much of feeling of expansiveness, reaching out to everybody, looking into the necessities and conveniences of everybody. Not only that, each of us with our devotion, with the feeling of purity in our mind, feeling of joy in the mind, we add to the atmosphere of purity and Sattvaguna. Actually, every one of us, whether we do a little bit of seva or we are doing something which needs lot of time or energy, every one of us, when we fill our mind with that feeling of devotion, we are actually adding to the divinity of the place. And with each such thought, speech, action, interaction, we are actually increasing the divine ambience of this place. That is why we are happy. That is why we are joyful. I'm only talking and you are listening. I wish with my talk I can give you a touch of this place now. How everybody has come together, and since morning all the corners of the ashram building, especially the hall here and the front of the buildings, everywhere, every corner is being cleaned, decorated, arrangements are being done, and there is a feeling of so much of joy. Now, as I always say, all these things should not be an one-time affair. If we have all assembled and we are experiencing this joy and divine feeling, the divinity of it, that should remain with us. How will it remain? Last time we were saying that Swamiji is telling us in his Prabhat Rashmi, as he tells us always, that everything should be made a sadhana. Every activity, every interaction, every thought, every speech, everything should be with an attitude, with an aspiration to become pure, to increase in Sattvaguna. Then only the mind will have the purity or joy, a feeling of freedom steadily, eternally. This is what we did last time. In my last session, I was reading from the Prabhat Rashmi, where Swamiji has said that instead of allowing the mind to be diverted by various interactions or actions, the activities should be channelized in such a manner that they go on purifying the mind. Now say today and tomorrow, we are doing all of us are doing what? With one aim. What is the aim? Tomorrow is Pujya Swamiji's birthday. There will be puja here. So our minds are focused on a worship of the Guru, worship of a Mahatma. So whatever we are doing, it is connected with that worship. When such an activity we do, naturally the mind becomes pure. Naturally the mind becomes more satwika. It is very natural. But what we have to be careful about is what Swamiji says. I'll read it again. Instead of allowing your mind to be diverted by various interactions and activities, all the activities should be channelized in such a manner that they go on purifying the mind. So when we are in some devotional or spiritual routines or practices or some activity, the mind will become purified. What about the interactions? Even when we are doing, say, we are arranging for this function, there will be many difficult periods, difficult moments. Say, we were looking for kurtula, we were not getting it. Everywhere they were looking for. I don't know why it was so difficult, I do not know that. But I was hearing that, so what would we do? How will we decorate? So there are some tensions, some anxieties. Apart from that, the Anakshatra has to be held. Many workers have to become, and we have to cut vegetables for tomorrow's feast. So all these things have to be arranged. People will be interacting with each other. Things may not go in time. All these things will bring about stress, strain, anxiety, sometimes a little difference of opinion between two people. What we should do? Channelize them in such a manner that through them we only be purified. That aim should be there. So I want to tell you this, my dear children, even in this program, the ceremony, the devotional ceremony that we are arranging now, preparing for tomorrow, our mind should not fall any moment from that aim. What is the aim? To channelize every action and every interaction so that the mind gets purified. Nothing else. Nothing else. Any seeker, any sadhaka has to remember this always. So, I read again. Let Swamiji is saying in Prabhat Rashmi, volume 1, page 169. 169 means of this book. This book. This is the first volume. Let whatever you do be a sadhana. Whatever you do, be a sadhana. Say, this hall has to be arranged. It has to be cleaned. After I get up, all these furnitures will be shifted away. It will be cleaned. And then the chair will be brought. Column will be put. Then tomorrow people will be sitting here. So some chairs will have to be arranged. These curtains have to be seen. Decoration will be done. How does it become a sadhana? Every work will become a sadhana when, while doing the work, we do the work remembering that this is a sattvika work. And how does a work become sattvika? We have done it. We have done it many times. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Niyatam sangarahitam aragadveshatakritam aphala-prepsuna karma yattat satvikamachyate. So even this holy act that we are all engaged in, we have to see that we are doing the work without any sangha, any clinging. That, oh, I was not given the chance to do the kolam. Maybe 3-4 people are there who are expert in making rangoli. So one has been chosen. Others should not feel, oh, I was not chosen. As soon as we feel it is raga and dvesha, we should be happy that somebody is chosen and help that somebody to draw out a very beautiful kolam. If there is any asymmetry, because when we draw kolam, sometimes this asymmetry comes, lack of symmetry. So sit there and say, oh, I want to tell you that I really love to sit and see kolam being drawn. And I do this work. If there is any asymmetry, I will say, please see that. If one line, this side becomes thick but the other side becomes thin, then somehow I catch it. And to make it symmetrical, I have a lot of joy. Actually, when I came, I found that in Baba's shrine, already the kolam has been put. So I was a little disappointed because I did not see it. So after this, I will sit here and see the kolam being drawn. So what I want to say is that this kind of raga and dvesha, sangha, the delusional clinging, that I do this work very well, so I should be chosen. And when somebody else is chosen, you feel a little envious, jealous, disappointed, and maybe irritated also. All that should go. Then only taking part in this holy, auspicious program, we will be doing sadhana. Otherwise not. Otherwise, we will be just doing some work, that's all. We will say that, oh, we went for Swamiji's birthday, I did this, I did that. Did you do sadhana? Did you do sadhana? Any seeker, every moment should be aware of the fact whether I am doing sadhana or not. My dear children, this is something I can tell you. This becomes natural to a true seeker. You don't even have to think. There will be this feeling whether by doing any work I am getting purified, I am becoming elevated in my mind, am I becoming refined, am I becoming sublime. This aim one must have. So, niyatam sangarahitam aragadveshatak kritam. So, without any raga and dvesha. I think I have chosen a very good example. What are we doing? A very sattvika act of preparing for Swamiji's birthday. But there are many things to be done. The hall has to be decorated. Similarly, some people are there in Annakshetra now, looking to it whether vegetables are being cut in a proper quantity. We are not very happy. 2 years we could not celebrate this day, even the Guru Purnima, because of COVID. This time also we thought that COVID has gone, so we will be able to, all can come. And always people from all over the country and outside the country, they assemble here. Not to speak of many from every district of Kerala, they assemble here on this day. We thought all of us will be together. But again the fourth wave came and we asked the health department, and the health department says, if you are having the program in open air, then it's okay. But if you are having it in a hall, then please restrict your number. And they also said, particularly because they know about Swamiji, that since Swamiji is old, so it's better not to take any risk. So we could not, many people, those who had already bought tickets from outside Kerala to come here, from Bangalore, from Hyderabad, from Chennai, we had to tell them, please come another time. So we are a little unhappy that people had to be people became disappointed. But still, those of us who are here, quite a large number, Some devotees have come earlier, so they are staying already. Staff is there. Then the workers are there. We ourselves, inmates are there. It's quite a large number. And for this program, the Sattvika day, the celebration has so many areas to be looked into, where everybody is doing their own role. Are we doing sadhana is the one thing. I am asking. How do we know that we are doing sadhana? Everybody will feel that yes, my role, my duty was in the Annakshetra. I have done, or I'll be going after this lecture, I'll go and do again. The person who has done the kolam, maybe cleaned that place and very nicely. Might have had a lot of devotional feeling also. But has it been a sadhana for you? Have you grown in your refinement? Have you grown in your devotion? Have you grown in your sublimity and purity by that? That thought should be there. So, this everything becomes a sadhana when we find that we do the work, whatever it is done, without any clinging, without any raga and dvesha, and without expecting a particular result. Whatever is given, I try to do my best, and I am happy with that. While doing the work, we feel joyful. All the things of competition, envy, jealousy, intolerance, impatience, all these we leave aside. We do not become elated. Suppose I have made a very beautiful column. Now, beautiful column. Actually, it is so beautiful. Suppose the person who draws the column, as it becomes beautiful, one feels, oh, everybody will appreciate. And suppose everybody appreciates, many appreciate, you feel very happy. And suppose nobody appreciates, then there is a little sorrow in the mind, disappointment in the mind. While doing any work, one should be feeling that I should neither be elated nor I should be depressed. I should not expect anything. I will be happy doing it, fully pouring out all my love, all my devotion into this, whatever I am doing. Sometimes I might not be able to do the work properly, perfectly, and maybe somebody will comment that it's not all right. Then also, okay, I'll not get agitated, afflicted by that. That is sadhana. So Swamiji says, let whatever you do be a sadhana. Never you should say, what I have done is not sadhana. We are constantly doing work. And from every work, we make it a sadhana. We associate with God. Either you think of God, think that, oh, how I have got these things, such a blessing that I have been blessed to do all these things. And I am blessed that I am able to do. Nothing is in my control. Nothing belongs to me. Everything belongs to God. And I have been given a chance to perform. Whatever it is, small, big. Connecting like this and seeing to it that the mind is always in equanimity. It is above likes and dislikes. Then one becomes pure. One generates sattvaguna. And then the whole process becomes a sadhana for a seeker. Otherwise, it is just a work. Just a work. Should we do only work? Or should we do every work to grow forward, to elevate our mind, to feel expanded, to feel that everywhere is God, or in everything there is Brahman. So Swamiji says, never you should say, what I have done is not sadhana. Devotionalize yourself as well as the world. Just like, Prahlada, he always thought He is embraced by God. Everywhere he could see God and God alone. Govinda parirambhitaha. Similarly, a seeker should always feel while he is active that through this work and while he is interacting, through this interaction, I am only getting sublimated, purified. That feeling should be there. That feeling has to be practiced also. Only when you ensure that throughout the day, whatever actions or reactions you have, there is progressive enrichment and purification taking place in you, can you be called, considered a sadhaka. Such beautiful things. See, it is so simple, but I don't think that we remember it. What does it say? This is volume 1, page 134. Only when you ensure that throughout the day, whatever actions or reactions you have, you can say interactions, there is progressive enrichment and purification taking place in you, can you be considered a sadhaka or a seeker? So how much we have to be attentive, alert, to understand it, that through everything we become only enriched. So there should be an assessment at the end of the day, or at least while we are acting or interacting, while we are acting or interacting, if we are not assessing our behavior, talk, thought, right at that moment, at least in the end of the day, we should assess ourselves. Oh, how was it? What did I talk? How was my behavior? Even if I tried to talk sweetly, was my behavior or facial expression okay? Did I hurt anybody by my talk or behavior? This assessment for a seeker is very, very important. Don't think it is as important or more important than studying the scriptures, listening repeatedly. We can listen. But together with that, if this assessment is not done, just listening will not purify you. Purification has to have, it is the self-effort. One has to make one's own effort to purify oneself. And by only blessing of God and Guru, one gets the blessing to see one's shortcomings, one's defects, so that one can purify them. So, assess yourself at the end of the day. Only when a person has enhanced sattvaguna, when the sattvaguna is more in a person, then one aspires and strives for this purification. Do you understand? Rajoguna people will not even think of it. They will be only acting. Activity will be their aim. How to do more and more work. So the person having Rajoguna, he never feels a necessity to introspect and see how through an activity, interaction, one can grow in purity and sublimation. He will not even think. Even if somebody tells or explains, he will think there is no necessity for it. I am getting joy out of work and activity. That is enough for me. Their line of thinking is absolutely different. And tamasika people, they are absolutely inflexible. They are under delusion, ignorance and lethargy. They will not even try. But when sattvaguna is more, the people who are sattvika, they will aspire and strive for this purification. So then their whole day becomes very, very joyous. Because always there is a feeling, whatever you are doing, if you get the sattvic essence from it, say, why we are joyous now? Tomorrow is a holy function. Tomorrow is an auspicious function. So whatever we are doing, even if we are doing a little bit of work or maybe a huge amount of work, our whole focus is that tomorrow is Swamiji's birthday and we are, all of us together, we are arranging and preparing for it. So already the Sattvaguna is there in the mind. When that Sattvaguna has increased, then one strives for purification, one aspires for purification. Everything that we do, it gives us a joy. It gives a joy. You know, when we worship, we get up. So today I was talking with Swamiji, and Swamiji was telling how this Sattvaguna practice can be done, what it is. Okay, I will come to it later. So, when the Sattvaguna is enhanced, then only one aspires for and strives for purification. The extent to which one is able to remain equal. Equal to what? Able to remain equal, able to accept favorable and unfavorable outcomes with equanimity, will depend on the purity of the mind. So the purity of the mind, when Sattvaguna has increased, one will be also able to remain equal, able to accept favorable and unfavorable situations, incidents equally, with equanimity. That happens because of Sattvaguna, the purity of the mind has increased. So, when we are doing work, as I was saying, araga dveshata kritam, Krishna has said that one should not have raga and dvesha. So whenever, even if we are doing some devotional and spiritual pursuit, spiritual work, devotional work, let aside worldly work, we should not have a feeling of distinction. This I like and this I don't like. I do not like to sweep and mop this hall. I would like to do only flower decoration, because that work is a little mean job. All those distinctions should not be there. Anything you do should give you joy and purity. So the extent to which you are able to remain equal, able to accept favorable and unfavorable outcome with equanimity, will depend on the purity of the mind. And all these are iterative. As the purity grows, so your ability to remain equal also will grow. As that grows, the mind becomes pure. All these are connected to each other. So one becomes equal to honor and dishonor, equal to praise and criticism. Suppose you have done a work and somebody says that, oh, it is nothing, you do it again, oh, it is not good at all. You have decorated and somebody says that, oh, it is not looking nice at all. So you get hurt. You feel that why I have spent so much time in decoration and it's not being praised. So then you are not pure. So two things. One is that while whatever you do with wholehearted, full excellence. Whatever you can, do it joyously. But be prepared that it may be liked by others or it may not be liked by others. So while you are doing the work joyously, you are also purifying your mind from getting hurt or depressed or irritated if your work is not liked by people. This is sadhana. That is, you are doing the work, but constantly in your mind that introspection is going on, that I will not expect anything. I'll do my job wholesomely, happily, with perfection, excellently, and that is my reward. I like to do it, so I do. If in the middle of it somebody stops that, no, what you are doing is not looking nice, you dismantle everything, let the other person do, it's okay. But does it happen? You will find you will be angry, you will be very disappointed, very irritated. You will go and tell XYZ that, see, I was insulted. So, through action and interaction, whole day, actually we are given so many opportunities to purify ourselves, to be enriched, to be enlightened. And that is why we should be grateful. When the mind should constantly watch the reactions, responses, and remind itself to guard against undue elation or depression with whatever you interact externally. These are all watch words, warnings. The mind should constantly watch the reactions, responses, and remind itself to guard against undue elation or depression with whatever you interact externally. Na khidyate no vishayaih pramodate, na sajjate napi virajyate cha, swasmin sada kridati nandati swayam nirantarananda rasena triptaha. Because while we do all this work, we are calling it sadhana. What is the sadhana? To attain something. Sadhana is a pursuit to attain. Attain what? The Atmic state, the Brahmic state, where I am absolutely unaffected. So whatever activities I do, whatever interactions I have to do, through all that, I will not be na khidyate. I will not be dejected or disgusted. Or opposite, no vishayaihi pramodate. Or I will not be elated. That is our state generally. Either we are elated or we are depressed. I will not be so, because that is not what Atma is. So for a seeker, a sadhaka, while doing any activity or in interaction or while thinking, the mind will be constantly thinking. We have to constantly remain connected to the source, the self, the real identity, and do these activities or be in interaction or think or whatever you do, which we are calling sadhana, which is the purification of the mind, which is the enlightenment for the mind, enrichment for the mind. We have to constantly watch our reactions. If you see our reactions, we'll find that, oh, yes, I am either related or I am depressed. Either I am thinking that I have not been praised or I have been praised. So I become very happy. If I am not praised, if I am commented upon, then very bad for me. So now, na khidyate no vishayaih pramodate. Neither I will be elated nor I am dejected. Na sajjate napi virajyate cha. I am attracted to some work or some interaction, to some people, to some places, or I do not like virajyate cha. I am neither of these. My Atmic state is neither of these. What is my Atmic state? Swasmin sada kridati nandati swayam. I am always within myself, rejoicing within myself, sporting within myself. Kridati nandati. Sporting is kridati, nandati is rejoicing. Where? Not outside, not in any place, not with some people, not with some object. Swasmin, inside me. Inside me, I am rejoicing and sporting. With whom? With myself. There is nothing else there. It is only me. So, inside me, I am sporting, I am rejoicing within myself. Swasmin sada kridati nandati swayam nirantarananda rasena triptaha. And because of that, nirantara means ceaselessly, without any break. Ananda rasena, the ananda rasa, the nectar of joy, with that I am full, and which means triptaha, contented. When one becomes contented, one wants nothing more, because one becomes full. So, we have to be constantly watching our reactions, our responses, that we have not fallen from that state. We are actually always falling. So we have to always be watchful that we are in that state. Oh, why I am feeling like this? Why I am feeling elated so much? Somebody has praised me. Why should I? If I am a seeker of truth, if I am a seeker of Atma-jnana or Brahma-jnana, then that is not what I should be. Somebody has praised me, somebody has said that I have done something good, it's okay. So that is how one should be always watchful, introspective. So we have to be constantly watchful about the reactions and responses and remind oneself to guard against undue elation or depression with whatever we interact externally. Guard oneself. This has to, initially we have to remind, then it becomes our nature. Like say, some vessel is on the fire, maybe water is boiling. If unknowingly we touch once, the finger gets burnt. Once we have known that that vessel is hot, next time we will not do it. It is like that. Once we come to know that these are the things which we should not allow in our mind, because these are the impurities. If you are elated, that is a disturbance. If you are depressed, that is a disturbance. Disturbance is a ripple. The mind is not still. The mind has to become still to understand and realize the Atma. So, the mind, we should be always watchful that there is no ripples or waves in the mind. And whatever is necessary to be done so that the mind becomes absolutely calm, we should do it. That is, the desirelessness should be there. Our reactions, our responses, everything is because of our desires and expectations. Whatever interactions we have or we are doing any activity, we desire something, we desire a result. If that is not fulfilled, then there is a reaction. If you are interacting with somebody, then also we expect a particular behavior from that particular person. If that is not had, again we are disturbed. So because root cause is the desire, and because of those desires not getting fulfilled in the manner in which we expect, the reactions and responses come. My dear children, we have been constantly hearing about the great truths, the highest truth from various scriptures. When we hear about Brahman, we chant those shlokas, we are elated, we are transported to those states. But you also know it very well, that wisdom, that knowledge, for it to be stable, we have to do this sadhana of purity. Nobody can escape it. We have to become pure in the mind. And as much one becomes pure, as much one takes to this sadhana of purity, to that extent, he will have fulfillment. To that extent, to that proportion. When the mind becomes pure, when the thoughts become noble, and when the intelligence becomes self-reminding about divinity, God, self, and truth, then you will become spiritual. You will be called spiritual only when the mind becomes pure, the thoughts become noble, and the intelligence becomes self-reminding. Self-reminding means nobody has to remind you that you have to assess yourself, you have to introspect, you have to be watchful to your reactions, and you have to remove the undesirable and bring in the desirable traits. Nobody has to remind. The intelligence becomes sharper, purer. As it becomes sharper and purer, it is able to understand itself. It starts shining. So it can understand what one should do and not do. And that one has to constantly, in this process of sadhana, remain connected to that reality of oneself, the ultimate reality, the supreme reality, the Brahman. Then alone one becomes spiritual, a spiritual seeker. My dear children, don't feel afraid. Then alone I am saying, this will go on. Just start, aspire, and when we start doing it, loving that purity, we reach the state. Yontas sukhontararamah tathantar jyotirevayah sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhuto dhigacchati. Yontas sukhontararamah tathantar jyotirevayah sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhuto dhigacchati. So when the mind becomes pure, what is Swamiji saying? When the mind becomes pure, when the thoughts become noble, and when the intelligence becomes self-reminding, that intelligence becomes luminous. In that light you can see everything. You understand what is the shortcoming, what is the defect, what is the impurity which has to be removed and which has to be strengthened. And you keep on remembering your connection with God, truth, Brahman, etc. The yogi who lives with inner happiness. So you are actually treading step by step, as you are taking to this practice of purity, striving for purity, just by loving purity, just by aspiring for purity, through your interactions, actions, thoughts, speech, everything. You are alert that you want that purity. You wish it. You become that purity for moments. You feel that sattvika in you, in whatever you are doing, not only during worships and all that. In everything that you do, whether you like it, whether you dislike it, your actions, your interactions, whether you like or you dislike, if the situations are favorable, if the situations are unfavorable, whatever it is, every moment, through every action, interaction, etc., you take steps towards that purity. The yogi who lives with inner happiness, when you do this sadhana, through actions and interactions every moment, remaining alert to it, wanting it, aspiring it, feeling it, feeling embraced by it, embraced by that purity, then what happens? That antararamaha, you have actually stepped forward to that inner state by maybe few steps, inner happiness, antasukhaha, inner happiness, antararamaha, you will start reveling within yourself. You have taken a little step towards that state. Tatha antarjyotirevayaha, and the luminous state which is there inside you, you have walked towards it with few steps. Because you are doing this sadhana, every moment you are making your mind and intelligence shine with purity, even if it is a little bit. It is shining. Slowly it will shine more and more. And slowly you are getting into this state. Antasukhaha, inner happiness. Antararamaha, reveling within yourself. Antarjyotihi, the inner luminosity. When that happens, actually you are walking towards Brahma Nirvanam. What is that? You are walking towards Brahmic redemption, liberation. Becoming what? Brahma Bhutaha. You become Brahman. That is how you touch it. As you deal with it, as you lovingly bask in the radiance of that purity, you slowly become Brahmic, Brahma Bhutaha. The state of purity. State of purity. My dear children, 9 o'clock. I said I'll stop at 9, and I stop. But I want to tell all of you, when it is such a holy occasion, any holy auspicious occasion, for us, tomorrow is Swamiji's birthday, very, very holy and divine occasion it is. It is not only to think that I am blessed to be in this ashram near Swamiji doing pranam, or blessed to see and witness the Pada Puja, blessed to hear what he speaks. We will be doing our sadhana of purity, sadhana of growing in Sattvaguna, when through all that we do, we feel that I am enriched and enlightened. How? Leave all raga and dvesha. Leave all clinging and just be expansive. Be expansive. Love to be so. Love to be so. Love to become free. Love to become free of all this raga and dvesha and the desires. Actually, on such holy days, we should do pranam and offer all our undesirable shortcomings at the holy feet and seek the blessings to become purified, to be purified. Jai Guru. Sampurnam Jagadev Nandanavanam Sarvepi Kalpadrumaha Gangam Vari Samasta Vari Nibaha Punyas Samasta Kriyaha Vacha Prakrita Samskrita Shruti Shiro Varanasi Medini Sarvavasthitirasya Vastu Vishaya Drishte Parabrahmani Sarvavasthitirasya Vastu Vishaya Drishte Parabrahmani. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
All of you who are away, and will not be with us in tomorrow's function. You will be, all of us will be in our minds, mentally, will be feeling all your presence. Jai Guru.